MySpace.
It was MySpace. Okay. So I went to MySpace and I wrote a blog. It was called The Forgotten Beatle. And I talked about how when the Beatles came to America, they left a guy behind named Pete Best. I said he never got famous. And I said that's how I feel because Matt and Jeff made it, Shannon Moore made it, Jason Arndt made it, all these other guys made it. And I got fans asking me if I can get them Matt and Jeff's autograph. You know, I said,
Hmm.
that hurts. And I
Yeah.
talked about that. And Matt, I asked Matt, I said, what should I do with this blog? He said, send it to every wrestling newsletter you can. And I did. And in a week's time, it got like over 100,000 hits, man. And people were reading it. I got into Fighting Spirit magazine. They called me, and they're from England, and they called me, want to do a 4-page spread on me with all the pictures and articles and stuff like that. So they were pumped up about it. And on the internet, people started saying they started a hire champagne campaign. So there were people actually going to the shows at WWE holding up signs that said hire champagne. And one night, Matt called me and said, dude, you got to look on TV tonight. They got your signs in the audience. There's 2 or 3 signs that say hire champagne. I said, no way. I turned the TV on and they blurred them out where you couldn't read them. WWE blurred my signs out. So I went to a show after that in Greensboro, North Carolina, about an hour from me. And I'm walking through the parking lot going into the show, and there's a car. It said hire champagne all over the windows, the doors. I'm like, oh man, that is so cool. And Matt said people would be wanting autographs sometime, and they'd have a hire champagne sign up. And they were in England after that, and Taker gets on the bus with all the boys, and Taker looks around and goes, "Did anybody see that 6-foot long hire champagne sign out there in the crowd tonight?" And he looked at Matt Hardy. He said, "Isn't that Marty Garner, Matt?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "What is that about?" And Matt told him. He said, "Well, tell him I hope he gets on, man. That's awesome." So a few weeks after that, Matt calls me. Matt said, "Hey, Johnny Laurinaitis wants to call you." He said, "Can I give him your number?" I said, "Absolutely." I'm thinking, this is it. This is it. Johnny calls me, says, "Marty," he said, "did you start a hire champagne campaign?" I said, "Well, I didn't start it, but it got started, Johnny." He goes, and then what he said something else, and I agree. I said, "Yes." And then he says, "Did you give somebody my personal email?" I said, "Johnny, I don't even know your personal email." He said, "Well, I'm getting 300 to 500 emails about you every day. People want me to hire you." And I said, and I think some of them are just a robotic thing, just
Bots.
sending emails out. And I said, "Johnny, I didn't do that." I said, he said, "Well, I don't want to ever see you again." He said, "If you come to a show, I'll have you arrested." I said, "Johnny, I'm just trying to get an effing job." That's back when I used to curse all the time. I don't curse anymore. I said, "I'm just trying to get an effing job." He goes, "Now you're cursing at a senior official of WWE." I said, "Johnny, I'm not cursing at you. I'm cursing about the situation." I said, "Man, I just want a job, man. I've been busting my butt, making videotapes, doing clip tapes, all this other stuff." I said, "Man, I'm great on the mic. You won't even give me an opportunity. You won't even watch it. You want to give me a chance." He goes, "I don't want to see you again, Marty." Click.